Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Figma Disney Frozen Queen Elsa and Olaf 6-inch scale action figure 2-pack. These figures are available through Big Bad Toy Store. For all your toy and collecting needs, visit bigbadtoystore.com. There is a link down below as well as in my profile. I'm a huge Disney fan. I'm a huge Frozen fan. When it hit theaters in 2013, it spoke to me in a way that very few Disney films do, very few films for that matter. Now that sounds kind of silly or whatever. Sorry, but that was absolutely the case. I loved it. It hit all the right spots for me. And for my own personal reasons, I was able to relate very much to the story. So I had to order this set. And being a Figma figure, it is a Japanese import. So it is going to be a little bit of an expensive set, but I have a feeling it's going to be well worth it. Now looking here at the packaging, you can see that it has this Arendelle sort of theme to it. Very nice blue coloring. You can see the sea. There's a little ship back there. And a lot of it is kind of obstructed by things going on with the packaging, but you can still see it as you turn the box around. On one side of the box, it looks like Elsa is singing Let It Go. At the back, you can see the figure doing a variety of different things, showing that it is a pretty versatile figure and that you can do different things with her accessories in order to create different looks from the film. Here at the top, you get another image of Elsa creating snowflakes, and then at the bottom, we have a similar look at the figure working her magic. Alright you guys, I'm going to go ahead and spend a few minutes, get this figure unboxed, check out all the accessories and everything, and when we come back, we'll take a closer look at Figma's Queen Elsa with Olaf. Okay, so first let's go ahead and take a look at Elsa, and as you can see, she looks very pretty. She looks very screen accurate, and she's just very lovely. I mean, she looks great, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. Now, right off the bat, the one gripe that I do have, aesthetically speaking, is I feel like the dress is a little bit too much on the minty side, whereas I think it should be a little bit more of a deeper blue. It still looks great, and it's close enough, I suppose, but I just feel like the color is a little bit off. That being said, it does look really good. I like how they use different colors on her. You can see that the sleeves are more of this reflective blue sort of color. The bodice is very glittery, and her dress is a two-tone dress where you see this gradient. It goes from more of this minty color down to more of this bluish color toward the bottom. Her physique looks fantastic. Her stature looks great. And to get it out of the way, let's go ahead and take her measurement. And she's standing right at about 5.5 inches tall. Looking at her from the side, you can see that she has a very nice profile and does look very much like the Queen Elsa we know and love from Frozen. From the back, you can see how her dress kind of seems to wrap around a little bit at the bottom, and you can also see a little hole in her back, which is a little bit unsightly, but that is actually for the display base. I do feel that overall she's a marvelous looking figure and has it all where it counts. Here's a close-up of the figure, and again, I think they did a very nice job recreating her look from the film. She does look great. She is very appropriately pale. She's got those big blue eyes. I think that the hair might be a little bit dark. I just kind of feel like it should be more of like a blonde gray sort of color rather than this, which is more of like a blonde beige sort of color. But looking at the makeup, it is very nicely applied. Her eyebrows look very nice and clean. She very much faithfully recreates her look from the film. The eyes look fantastic. I think they did a really nice job bringing those to life. She does have a very animated look to her, but also a little bit of an anime influence is what I'm seeing here, which is interesting since she is a Japanese figure. You can see that she's grinning. Her lips look nice. They're a very deep red color. And she just looks really cool. From all angles, I'm really, really liking this Elsa figure. I think she looks fantastic. Hair is very nicely sculpted. Again, the color isn't quite right. It could be a little bit better. It needs to be a little bit lighter. But by and large, I think that, it looks good, and that's the most important thing. You got that little flower detail there in her hair at the bottom. And all in all, she does look really great. The glittery look there on her bodice does look really good. And I really like this reflective quality that she has to her arms. I think that that looks really nice. And then the sleeves down here at the bottom where they cap there at her hands look really good. And the dress looks really nice. I really like that little gradient that it has to it. Now, she does have heels on. They look pretty close to the film. I think they should have been a little bit darker than this, but you're not really going to see them when you just have her standing over there. And you can see that they did fully articulate her legs and everything, which I don't quite get because I don't really feel like that was really necessary. I mean, you can't really do anything with them. You can move them around and stuff, but was it really necessary for them to do that? I mean, all she's going to really do is stand. you're not going to get her into any action-oriented poses. So, I mean, it's cool that they did that, but there's really not a whole lot of use for those joints. Now, in terms of articulation, I am quite happy with the amount of joints that she has on the upper half of the body. Looking here at the head, she does have a ball joint there at the neck, and it gets an okay range of movement. You can move it around, and works pretty well. Here for the braid, there's also a sort of ball joint, and it doesn't move a whole lot, but you can move it up and down a little bit, so that does help with posing her. Here at the shoulders, she has ball joints on both shoulders, so you get a pretty good range of movement there. They do kind of hit a little bit here at the back, but it's not too bad overall. I really do like these elbows, however. You can see that you can bend them up and down, you can rotate them, and you can't really see too much as far as where that joint is going to be. Other than the joint itself, obviously. Oh, there goes the hand. And here at both of the hands, she does have bends and swivels, so you can move those around. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these particular hands because they do slide out a little bit too easily. All you kind of have to do is pull it, and it comes out with the bottom part of her sleeve. There isn't anything to really keep it in place, so that is a little bit annoying. I kind of wish that they would have done something a little bit better than this. And also it's kind of tricky that that bottom part of the sleeve comes off because you always got to rotate it back in place. Here at the torso, you can move her around like this because she does have a ball joint, and it seems to work pretty well. For the first time in forever. These are segmented here at the dress, so there is going to be like a cut at this side and then a cut back here, but you can't pose them. It's not like a Play Arts Kai figure where you can move those around and reposition them. Here at the legs, I think she may have joints at the hips. It seems like she's at least got swivels, but they are kind of hard to move because you can't really get up there. But she does have bends and swivels at both of the knees, so that is quite nice, but you just can't move them a whole lot, no farther than getting the leg out like that. Maybe do like a Jessica Rabbit sort of pose or something. And then here at the ankles, you can move those up and down, you can rotate them, and that seems to be about it. There may be like the very hint of a rocker swivel, but if there is one, it is very, very subtle. Not really enough to do anything meaningful here. So by and large, very nicely articulated above the waist. Beyond that, not a whole lot you can do. Now, if you need a hand, Elsa can give you one of hers. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 alternate hands, including the 2 that she has from the factory on there already. So that's 9 hands total. So yeah, you can see that they're just doing different things. This one's kind of got like a magic-y spell sort of thing. This one's just an open hand, little holes in it for little effects that I'm going to show you. And some of these closed hands. Now, where it really gets interesting is taking the hair and the head off in order to move her eyes around and replace the head with one of the other 2 heads that she comes with. So to do that, according to the instructions, you just pull up on the hair like that. And now this looks very weird. Hope I don't have nightmares. Probably won't, but I'm just saying. And this looks even weirder. So yeah, hey Elsa. As you can see, this is the head back there, and you can move the eyes. So they included this little thing right here, for lack of a better word. It's kind of like a little pike or a little thing, a little stick. And what you want to do is just kind of line these up into those little sockets there in the eyes. And then you can move the eyes around. So if you wanted to create something like that, you could do that. Excuse my silliness. This is the first time I've tried doing this with this figure. And we'll try the other one too. Just move it the same direction. And that looks a little better, somewhat. So it does take practice. And you can do that with each and every one of the heads that she comes with. And let's get this out of the way because that's just creepy. So you also get this head right here. And this is kind of just her smug looking look that she, I think she kind of looked like this after she said that cold never bothered me anyway. And then she shut the door, right? That's what that looks like to me. And then this other one, it looks like she's singing. So let's go ahead and try both of these on here. So I'm not going to move the eyes around because I don't want to creep anybody out, but okay, let's go ahead and try our singing head first. So we're going to just plug it in like this, just like that. And yeah, let's throw her hair back on there. Sorry. There we go. And yeah, now she's singing. Let it go, turn away and slam that door. Okay, so I went back and tweaked the eyes just a little bit, and I think that this looks really good with this face. I love the little singing look that she's got. I think it looks fantastic. And just looking at the figure, I mean, that looks marvelous to me. Not perfect, perhaps. Like I said, there are some issues with coloration, but she's just beautiful. Oh, Elsa.
Are you thirsty?
Now, you also do get these two little snowflake effects. They look decent. I mean, it's basically just clear plastic with these little snowflakes kind of decorated on there. I think these could have looked a little bit better. I mean, they could have been maybe a little more sparkly, maybe more like a bluish sort of color. I don't know, just something a little bit more snazzy. I mean, they look okay. And they are hard to get in there because the pegs on there just seem a little bit big for those tiny little hands. But once you do get them in, it's a pretty neat looking effect. I think that it actually looks quite cool, like having her with the little magic effects. So there's that one. And this other one very sadly broke on me when I was trying to get into her hand. Like I said, these pegs are just a little bit too big for the little tiny hand right there. I mean, that's a very small little place to stick the peg. So you just can't really get it in. I was trying to get it in and it snapped. Now finally for Elsa, you also get this train of her dress. And it's a 3-piece piece, and as you can see, you can kind of just stand it on its own like that. But if you didn't want to do that, you can see that it is articulated here on these different little ball joints. So you can move these around, and then this little bit right there just plugs into her back. Now the train itself looks really nice. I do like the color of it. Nice clear blue with glitter and snowflakes on it. Very nicely decorated. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your Elsa figure, and then you're going to see that hole right there. Just line it up and just push it in there. And voila! I think it looks good overall. One complaint I do have is that peg doesn't go very far into her back, so it isn't very secure at all. If you just move the figure around, it's going to fall off. That being said, if you're just going to put it on a shelf or in a display case and leave it like this, you know, it's going to be fine. But it's not the kind of thing you're going to want to move around a whole lot because it is pretty finicky. And I really don't like how they articulated these sides because it just makes it really hard to put on her. But aesthetically, it does look good. I think it gets the job done and has a very nice look about it. It definitely completes the look, so to speak. But it is a little bit of a pain in the neck. It is something that could have been better implemented. Now, Elsa also does come with a display stand. It's a very simple display stand, and basically it just plugs into that hole in her back. Again, it doesn't go in very far. As you can see, it just barely goes in. So it's not a very secure grasp on the figure. She probably would have been better served in this case if she had one of those little claws to hold her, since that peg doesn't go any deeper than it does. But it seems to be holding her okay right now. So, you know, if you wanted to use that to display her, and I probably would recommend doing so if you're not going to be using the train, then that would definitely be a safer route to go. And at last, we arrive at Olaf. Olaf is a really good looking figure. Aesthetically speaking, I think that he looks fantastic. Now, I am holding him like this because he does not stand. The way that his feet are done, he just doesn't balance. I mean, they're not really made in a way that he can stay standing. So they did include this display base, and you can see that it does have this larger peg at the bottom that goes into the base, and then a smaller peg right there that's supposed to go into his back. However, I cannot get it to go in. I'm probably going to need to heat it up in order to get it to stretch in there, but I just can't get it in at all. And I'm pressing really hard. It's not going in at all, so obviously there's some sort of a problem here that will need to be looked into. But like I said, the figure does look great. He is articulated, so you can swivel his head and you can move his shoulders. Now, he does have ball joints. Be very careful because, as you can see, they're very small, very delicate, and very fragile-like. So you can move them, but, you know, I wouldn't do it too much because I feel like they're going to break. But by far, what this figure has going for it the most is the aesthetics, because it does look very film accurate, and I really like this nice, vibrant white color they went with for the snow. Now, like with Elsa, you can pull off the back of his head and access both of those eyes. And it's going to be the same thing. You're just going to tweak them like this so that you can move them around and, just do whatever you want to do. If you want to make him look silly, you can make him look silly. If you want to make him look a little bit normal, well, you can do that too. And that's probably the best way to go about doing this. So there we go. And we'll just go ahead and place this back in. And it is kind of funny. You can see through his mouth there at the front. So just line up those pegs and push them in. So very fun. Now, as far as his height goes, Olaf is going to be coming in to the top of the head. It's a little bit under 3 inches. It's about 2 3/4 inches, but to the top of the little branches on his head, he's about 3.5 inches tall. Now, for good measure, Figma also includes this little plastic baggie. That way you can store all of your parts, because if you don't want to keep that box, this is a good thing to use, because that box, as you saw, is huge and takes up a lot of space. So this is pretty convenient if you didn't want to keep the box. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Figma Disney Frozen Elsa and Olaf 6-inch scale figure 2-pack. All in all, you guys, I love the aesthetics of the figures. I think that they look so screen accurate. I think that they look gorgeous. Elsa in particular looks awesome. Such a beautiful figure, beautifully done. And she is going to make a very nice display piece. Proportions are correct. Her outfit looks very nice. Even if the color isn't exactly as it should be, it still looks close enough. The likeness is totally there. The hair is sculpted very nicely, even if the color is a little bit off there too. It is fun how you can change out the 3 different faces. Each of them gives the character more dimension and more personality. And being able to pose the eyes is a very fun element as well. I don't like how her hands come out so easily, and she really didn't need all that fancy articulation underneath her dress. But the movement of the arms and the elbows and the wrists, it all works very well. Now, those little effects are just so hard to get into her hands. I honestly don't feel like they did a very good job there. I don't know if it's just my figure or what, but they definitely need to hollow out those holes in the hands a little bit more so that you can accommodate those little effects without breaking them like I did. I'm really disappointed that that happened. The train is also quite nice. It looks great. It's pretty, but it doesn't connect to the figure as well as it should. It barely goes into the hole in her back, and the fact that they made it articulated makes it especially hard to get it to work with the figure. The display stand's a nice inclusion, although again, the peg doesn't go as far into her back as it should. All the interchangeable hands are great. I don't quite think she needed this many hands, but it is nice that you have options with that. Now, the Olaf figure also looks really good. It's got awesome aesthetics. And it's also fun how you can take his face off and reposition his eyes, just like Elsa. It's nice that he has a little bit of articulation, though it is very hard to use because it is very delicate. So overall, it is a nice set, but it is a mixed bag for me. Aesthetically, like I said, the figures do look fantastic. And if you're a fan of Frozen, no doubt you would probably enjoy having these in your collection. But there are some major issues here with functionality. So I would say if you're a huge Frozen fan, then definitely add it to your collection. Just be very careful with it. But if you're kind of on the fence, I would say you're probably best served saving your money. Maybe something will come down the line later from another company that will hopefully have less issues with functionality. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, do give us a like, do subscribe, let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends, bye-bye. The cold never bothered me anyway. My name is Elsa, and I'm a queen of Arendelle. When I go, it's never hard to fill, 'cause I run so far away when it starts to snow. At that point, you need to know to let me go. Yeah, I have a castle way up high on a mountain top. It's the only place that I can go and make it stop, 'cause people always tell me what I have to do. So leave me alone before I leave you feeling blue.